Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how you doing? You look great. You look good. Wow, I actually see you, and you look darn good. I thank you for tuning in. I can't tell what device you're using, but I do see a beautiful smiling face, and I see you're getting ready to subscribe to our channel if you're not already subscribed. So, hey, keep doing that motion. As you know, the network has required us to be more educational on the show. They said the show lacks in its educational and enlightenment abilities, and I'm very disappointed in that. So, I want to teach you a new word today. The word that you need to apply to your personal dictionary is Donnybrook. Donnybrook. And that word means an uprising, melee, or riot. Uprising, melee, riot. The term is Donnybrook. So next time you see a group of very upset black people because an unarmed black person was killed by the police, don't call it a riot, call it a Donnybrook. Hey, did you see that Donnybrook down in downtown LA? And that's have a nice ring to it. So that's your educational word for the day, Donnybrook, which means a melee, uprising, or riot. And now let's get down to discussing what matters on this episode of The Last Talk Show. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, how are you doing today? I love to hear it. I love to see it. Others have come before us. Others will come after us. But this is The Last Talk Show. Thank you. Thank you so very much. I'm so honored and privileged to have two extremely talented musicians. This season, we've been blessed with some great, talented people. Okay, be quiet. It's so amazing to have people that are naturally gifted and able to strum and play instead of just humana, you know? So I really appreciate these two wonderful guests for coming on the show. Can you give it up for Salem and Bryan? Clap it up. So happy to have them. So happy to have them. Now, what I want these kind folks to do is give us a brief intro about themselves. Now, Bryan, would you begin? Give us a brief intro about you. Who are you?
I'm a bass player. I play for Virgin Spirit. I'm an Angelino from California. And yeah, that's it.
Clap it up. Clap it up for him. I think that's good. I think that's hot. He's giving us a little about him. Salem, break it down for us. What's going down?
Hey guys, Salem, born in Anaheim. Grew up with this guy. We went to the same school together. We actually met through a little middle school scuffle, like every other best friend meets, you know?
Fight it out. Fight it out. There you go.
After that, we're 10 years going stronger as best friends, and we're together. We play music together, and you know, to eternity.
I love it. Clap it up. Yeah. Clap it up for best friends, people together, doing what it do. That's what it's all about. Us coming together and making stuff happen. Now, on the show, we analyze the culture in its raw form. We look at tweets, we look at posts, we look at random things all across the smorgasbord of life, and we try to gain a better understanding of what people do and why people do what they do. You know what I'm saying, Bryan?
Yeah.
So we're going to dive right in and begin discussing what matters. We're going to start with a popular category, sensible nonsense. Now, this category allows us to look at certain situations, certain topics, and understand the sense of it and the nonsense of it. Let's dive right in.
Sensible nonsense.
That's our live studio audience. They get so excited about these different categories. Let's begin by looking at this sensible nonsense. Electing political leaders with no political experience. To me, that's sensible nonsense.
Agreed, yeah.
The primary nonsense of it is that you have someone that's supposed to be, you know, writing out rules, legislations, laws, but they have no background in it. Salem, would you give us, do you understand how this is sensible nonsense?
I understand how that's a sensible nonsense. It makes no sense. A lot of our politicians have no experience in their positions most of the time. And ironically, unfortunately, with what we're doing right now as well, our officers don't even know their own laws, and that's why they constantly keep violating. So I mean, it goes for both parties. I mean, I think we need to really educate our superiors in that sense.
All right, clap it up. Clap it up for Salem. And he's totally right. Bryan, what do you think?
It really doesn't make any sense of what they're doing or trying to do or whatever. They're just really out of touch.
Yeah.
And that's what sucks when you're put into a position that you don't know what you're doing. You know, it's like if you're a basketball player, you can't be a football player, but you're trying to play basketball. You know, you can't be one thing and trying to do it. So you need experience in that field if you're going to effectively do your role. You guys provided some great insight into that. Let's go to our next. Wow, and you guys already kind of touched on this. Officers breaking the law to uphold the law. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah,
I get.
It's just because you have a situation where someone's using a gun where they're not supposed to. And then the officer uses a gun to de-escalate the situation. It's like, wait, now I know they're held to a higher standard, and unfortunately they're not really going and fulfilling that standard. But you have it where then they'll pull out a gun, hey, put your gun down. It's like, no, you put your gun down.
Yeah,
You know, it's
exactly.
like,
It's a never-ending cycle.
Exactly.
We've been seeing a little too much of that, and we were having a conversation at the protest with a few of the other activists out there, and I was educated in the sense that I wasn't aware what defunding the police means exactly, but it basically means that you don't just throw an officer on anyone, you know, just because you get a call. If it's a domestic, you know, call regarding a domestic abuse, you don't send in a police officer, you actually send in a social worker instead of you know, jumping into conclusion and sending an officer in. Not only scaring the one who's being accused, but also just escalating rather than de-escalating.
Right. Clap that up too. That's some great insight, and it's so true to know who's assigned to what, who's supposed to be doing what they're supposed to do. But oftentimes officers will hop in and just blow everything down. It's like, nah, man, let us do our thing. We know what we're doing. We know what we're doing. Bryan, anything on the subject?
Yeah, we're not all criminals. Like, you know, they're showing up like if. You know, we're all, you know, just bad people.
Right.
And that approach is just pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, clap it up for these guys. I love where they're thinking. I love how they're thinking, and I believe we touched on sensible nonsense enough. Cultural analysis. This is where we analyze the culture in its raw form. We look at specific tweets that people tweeted and see why they tweeted it. Let's dig right in.
Cultural analysis.
Now, I put this tweet because you guys are very talented musicians, and I wanted to know if this is just blasphemous. For all this time, I thought Elton John was a part of the Beatles.
I can't do that.
Boo, boo, hello. No, don't laugh. Boo. 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 Now you laugh at Salem. To me, that's kind of blasphemous.
That's funny. That is blasphemous, but it's funny because I would always confuse Elton John with Eric Clapton. Like, I don't know why.
that's always been that's always been a confusion for me too.
I don't know why, but that's blasphemous.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel that you should know, even as a brother, you should know Paul McCartney. You should know Ringo is the only one that's kind of always like, I don't know why either, but John Lennon, of course, Paul McCartney, Ringo, and
George Harrison.
Really want to see you. Thank you, man. Put myself in check. But the Beatles are an iconic group, and to put Elton John in there, also another iconic artist, I'm kind of like, what are you thinking? But at least they know they're wrong. You know, they said I can't do this.
Yeah, this whole time they weren't.
I actually ran into Elton at Amigo Records.
We ran into him.
He's like a little panda bear. He's just like
He's so lovable.
He goes to Book Soup a lot too, the bookstore in West Hollywood. I mean, he's a hot man. Man, he does a lot for the community. Clap it up for Elton. Shout out Elton John, you're amazing. Let's go to the next category of our show. Let's get right into it. I won't date a model because models are perfect and perfect is boring.
Depends. I mean, you know, not all models are the same, right? Like, I've never dated a model, but no, I I don't know. I don't really fully agree to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Salem?
I mean, there is that sense that people perceive them as, uncultural and just shallow. But, you never know when you might find one who has a lot of depth to them and is sophisticated. I think it goes both ways with just anyone.
Clap it up.
Yeah.
Clap it up. I like that. I like that because models are, as Salem said, kind of seen as, oh, they're perfect, oh, they're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. But in reality, they ain't nothing, man. They got some makeup on and that nonsense. You ain't that special.
Humble yourself. Get some
Other people's self-esteem, man. I'm sick of models thinking they're perfect. And the reason I get a little hostile, Bryan and Salem, because a model rejected me.
Yeah.
she said,
Oh, John, your hair isn't perfect like mine. Yours is all slick to the side. Mine's blah, blah, blah.
I like my hair.
That's their loss, man. It's not you, man. It's them.
See? Thank you. Clap it up for Salem and Bryan. They respect the hair. I'm sick of the comments. Oh, you're wet. And I'll leave it alone.
I love the hair. Thank you. I love you.
Thank you. Let's go to the next tweet.
You are the model.
There it is. Yeah, you got it.
It's crazy. It's crazy how when you smoke weed when you're younger, your instant next move is to soak yourself in an unholy amount of Axe body spray because that's a totally normal and not suspicious thing to do. Now, are you brothers of the stoner delegation?
We do smoke weed.
I've realized that actually enhances the scent more. I remember in high school I would have, I would smoke, before like on a first period or something like that, but I never did that because it actually enhances the smell. I feel like it makes it reek more. Like,
I just read it R right now.
Yeah.
It makes it even. It just makes it worse. Like, you can't hide the funk.
You cannot hide the funk.
You can't hide the funk. That's good. That's good. And it's so funny how obvious it makes it. Now I know the smell of marijuana is it's a distinct. Quiet. It's a very distinct smell. But when you then bathe yourself in Axe, it's like, okay, what were you doing? Why you got this much Axe on? Like why did you? If like thinking of a teacher's perspective or another student, it's like don't make it that obvious. Just maybe change your shirt. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, go smoke weed before first period and then go in all high. It's a tough place.
You just gotta be careful with those fingers, man. The fingers, that's where it stays. It's not even like it's not even the clothes. It's like it's.
Yeah, if you're walking through a neighborhood, you could always just look for like a lemon tree or like rosemary. Get some, rub it on the fingers, and that could probably help a little bit.
He's giving you advice on how to smoke weed and get away with it in high school. Let's go to the next. We've got one more category on the show, which I'm very excited about. Draw it out. This is where I give you, dear guests, a prompt, and you draw it out.
Draw it out.
That's right, kind live studio audience. So what I'm going to ask you guys to do is grab the boards from under your desk. You should have a board and marker. And I'm going to give you a prompt, and I'm going to ask you to simply draw it out. So I've got a little one here. So I'm going to give you the prompt. Give me one moment trying to get this all nice and pretty. Okay, here we go. Here is the prompt. Your favorite food. You've got 30 seconds to draw it. Let's start the 30 seconds now. Let's start. Let's go. Draw your favorite food. Let's see. And you guys really take time, to put as much detail as possible. We want that item of food to look delicious and just so mesmerizing, hypnotizing. We want it to look good. We definitely want it to look good. Yeah. So I think, let me see, you got a few more up. Yep, you got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, that time is up. What are we looking at, guys? What is our favorite food? Let's turn it over so the guests can see. Hey. Okay, now Bryan.
I know that's gotta be chicken.
Yeah, clap it up for fried chicken.
Is that a burrito?
Clap it up for fried chicken. Clap it up for fried chicken.
Clap it up for fried
I love fried chicken. Okay, and then Bryan, what you got?
This is a burrito, and it's landing onto like a Playboy. I actually screwed it up. It was supposed to be like a newspaper, like those old Carl's Jr.'s commercials.
Right.
But my Playboy, and it was supposed to be
But your favorite food is Playboy, Bryan?
no, the burrito, and then that
Dripping on the plate.
No, but it was supposed to be a magazine. But I thought about Playboy because of the models and that they used to show, and
What do you think? I love it. I love it. Okay. I believe that is all for the categories.
Wait, what did you draw?
Oh, man, I forget about myself. This is a cheeseburger.
Oh, okay.
From The Habit, one of our sponsors. Clap it up for that.
Yours is dang.
Clap it up for The Habit.
I threw fire around that.
Okay, that's right. That's smart. That's smart.
I appreciate these guys so much. Can we clap it up for Salem and Bryan, please? Can we clap it up for them? Can we clap it up? Now, before we go on to the next episode, I need Salem, very gifted, talented artist. I want him to perform. Are we ready for a Salem performance? Let's get to it. We are going to get right down to business. Salem's going to perform. Let's hook it up. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up. Let's clap it up.